Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Mekor Suzuki Tiger Valley's podcast. That is your all-access pass to everything Suzuki. I'm your host, Evan, and I'm thrilled to bring you along for this exciting ride. So today we are going to talk about the true legend, the Suzuki Jimny. So whether you are a die-hard fan of the rugged 3-door or an eyeing brand new door, 5-door with curiosity, we've got all the answers. But let us introduce our guest today. So joining me today is none other than Graham Watson from African Sky. And so he's a Suzuki expert, I believe, and also an off-road enthusiast. Good morning to you, Graham.
Morning, guys.
And also,
on the show.
Yeah, welcome. And also we've got Neville Steenkamp, our sales manager here at Suzuki Tiger Valley. And he's someone who knows Jimny like the back of his hand.
Morning.
And also the man running the show here, with he leading from the front. That's our dealer principal, Sean Palvey. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning. A great pleasure to be here.
Hi, gentlemen. Welcome all to your listeners that's out there. And just remember, let's have a look quickly what I've got in store for you today on our first podcast. We're very proud of it so that we can actually have our first podcast here, and we're going to start with the legend in the 3 doors. We're going to focus on our 3-door Jimny, followed by the 5-door, and also then the head. Then we're going to have a nice one, gentlemen, Sean and Graham. Neville, we're going to do a showdown and to hear all your opinions on both the 3-door and the 5-door.
Yes, looking forward to it.
John, what do you think about the showdown we're going to do at the end of the show?
Oh, very excited. Very, very excited.
Right, and then lastly, at the end of the show, we're going to have the public, you as the listener, that you can WhatsApp us with all your questions. So you can start making those those questions that you want to ask about the Jimny, and you can WhatsApp that one to 064 5319 650. That's 064 531 9650. First of all, before we start off with our first segment of the Jimny 3-door, Graham, I just introduced you as an off-road enthusiast, a Jimny expert. Just give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay, so myself and my partner Siska, we've had the company for about 7 years. When I used to work for Mekor as well, and with the brand on and off for about 13 years. So I'm very passionate about the brand, and what we do at African Sky is we do a 4x4 training specifically for Jimnys. We kit them out, whatever you need for your Jimny. We give you advice from the start until the finish. And then we also do our trips and tours with our club, which we run, which is the Suzuki 4x4 Club with Western Cape, which has been going on since about 2009.
If you talk about, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here about your 4x4 or the Jimny training on 4x4, those venues, where are they? Are you doing that?
So currently we do our level 1, which will be at Darling. And the other one, which is our advanced training, is at Clip, where we actually go more into depth with your advanced driving and survival and stuff.
So in actual fact that people can do advanced beginner's course, and also they can upgrade to an advanced course. So there's no intermediate course like you offer on with Sky Adventures.
Yeah, because what we do is our level 1 is quite an intense training course. It's a whole day. We cover basically everything except for the practical and the recovery. But then we go into our advanced, which is a weekend course, and we basically cover the fundamentals again, and then we go into the serious stuff.
All right, thank you for that one, Graham. I think that all the listeners will find any benefit out of that that you just said. Now we can, at the end of the show, we can just get all the details from you. So let us start. Let us get this show on the run, and we're going to start off with our legend in the 3-door. So Graham, let's start with the classic one, the 3-door. Why has it gained such a cult following? Because everywhere you drive with the Jimny, which I've experienced myself, lights are flashing, people are waving. Can you just maybe elaborate a little bit on that one?
Okay, so it starts in a very deep roots in the 70s with the SJs, and which used to be brought in from another manufacturer. And I think that's where it started. It's a unique little vehicle. Nobody else has got anything like that. And I think not only in South Africa, but we ran, to give you an idea, we ran a bit of the Jimny wave on our one of our Facebook pages the one day, and it's amazing that what results we got from overseas. We got from Malaysia, we got from Indonesia, all those places where they actually do exactly the same. They actually wave and flashlights and stuff. So I think that it's such a unique person that would buy it and have that kind of following. So I think it's just the uniqueness of it and the capabilities of it.
Yeah, and also you said internationally as well, overseas. So the cult that's here in South Africa is also established overseas.
Correct. Yeah, it's very similar and like-minded people. We love the vehicle, and if you have a look at Fischhoek and Noordhoek and all those places, we always call it the capital of Jimny in Cape Town, because there's just so many vehicles available. The one day a friend of mine and I took a bike trip. We saw 46 vehicles in a Saturday morning, 46 Jimnys, within
46.
So it's basically, I think it just, the popularity stands for itself, and it's a unique, like I say, it's a unique person that would buy it.
Definitely. Sean, would you like to elaborate on that one as well?
Graham, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if one goes back to the very late 60s into the early 70s, the very first iteration of what is now known as the modern day Jimny, and if memory serves correct, and if I've got my facts right, I think we're on the sort of the fourth generation in total generations of the Jimny's existence. But the very first ones, as far as I know, they ran little 600cc two-stroke engines.
That's correct. Yeah, it was called the LJ. It was prototyped in around about 1968 and then manufactured in 1970. And yeah, it was called the LJ. Very small little it was a twin two-stroke,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken, and then it went up to an 850, and obviously going up to the 1000 and then the 1300 eventually in the SJ410.
Okay, and the difference maybe for our listeners. These vehicles were never available in the local market then, but they the Japanese refer to the Jimny as and I think the spelling is KEI, a key or Kai vehicle, which was a slightly watered down version of let's call it the wider bodied Jimnys that we got to know well in South Africa.
Yeah, so I think that we only received the SJs when they were 1000cc, and that was in about 82, 83.
Yes.
And that's when they were launched in South Africa through, at that time it was the Delta Motor Corporation, and it was basically just one model. I think they were convertibles, soft tops at that time, and then through the years there was obviously the hard tops that were available right up until the 1300.
Yes, and the reason I mention this is we very often get questions from customers that ask us about how long Suzuki has actually been around, because a lot of people have only got memory of Suzuki as a brand in South Africa from 2009 onwards. But we've actually been around since the early 80s under different management, but the brand has been in South Africa for, call it, 40 plus years.
100%. If you have a look at, they started the company with the loom business in Japan, and their first cars were in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. And then motorcycles were very prompt in South Africa. That's where we remember, because everybody says, yeah, but I remember the Suzuki motorbikes, but never the cars. And 100% right. From Delta, bringing them in the 80s, we had their first SJs, which was 1000 cc's.
Graham, just for the first Jimny set was the LJs, eh?
LJ was the early 70s, yeah.
Yeah, that's and I think LJ stands for light Jeep. Am I right?
100%.
Yeah. So the SJ410, and I don't know if the listener know that because the SJ4 they only found it out I think 4 years ago. It stands for Suzuki Jimny 4-cylinder 1000cc. Am I right?
It's 100%.
Yeah.
So so the last SJs that were brought in before, I think it was in the 90s, late 90s, or middle of 90s, that was the 410, which was the 4-cylinder 1300, as we know, the 1300 as the Jimny Gen 3 generation.
Right, we're talking about the three-door Jimny now, the 1500 three-door. And Neville, from your side, how does it look from the customer side?
Graham, yeah, so from a peer, I mean, we've touched on the beautiful heritage of the Jimny, and it does indeed have a beautiful heritage, and it's gained so much popularity in South Africa since the launch of the vehicle itself. With regards to the popularity of the car, that we are seeing people trading in the double cab buckies to form, because as we know, you're not just buying a reliable vehicle, you're buying into a community. You're buying into fun. You're buying into popularity. Everything we're bound to the vehicle itself, and so we're seeing a lot of increase in sales with regards to the Jimny, and purely for that reason. I mean, if you're looking at the events that everybody has, that we have in the Western Cape as well. I mean, for instance, we've got Saturday, there's an event going on where they're expecting about 90 Jimnys to break a local record for the most Jimnys at one spot in the Western Cape. So have you seen the increase in popularity with the new three-door, or the three-door and the five-door that was launched, as the increase in popularity in sales?
Yeah, I think when I was still at Mekor as a sales manager, we saw the enthusiasm from the clients wanting to buy a Jimny and prepared to wait almost 2 years for it, kind of thing.
Correct, yes.
And they wanted a specific color and in a specific trim or whatever the case may be. So they were happy to wait. But as the three-door became quite popular, the five-door, on their launch on their five-door, is that it talks to a different market. I think the three doors were the good old enthusiast 4x4 cult guys, and when I say unfortunately, the five doors I don't think has got such a cult following, but obviously it's more popular with your mom's taxis. That now put a cricket bag in the back of the car without moving the seat for the child, etc., etc. So it looks at a different kind of market, a little bit bigger, so you get a small family in it, and you can still have fun, fuel consumption, and all that kind of stuff, capabilities. Compared to a full 4x4 double cab.
Yeah, we're going to touch that one on the next segment on the five-door. I just want to conclude here on the three-door, which I found, Graham, because the sales has declined, obviously has declined because of the five-door. But I still find that your teenager, let's call it your teenager, your 18-year-old, your rich man's kid. They normally go out for the three-door, and also the older people that there's no dependents driving with them. So three-door sales are still there, and I don't know what your views on that one, because of the younger people, they just adore Jimnys and they adore the three doors.
Okay, so if you have a look at our club is a little bit, our audience is a little bit bit older. And you'll be surprised how many solo travelers there are, which are a little bit older. If you have a look at our ladies outdo the men, so it's a 60-40 split in our club member kind of setup, and a lot of solo travelers. So and they prefer the three-door because it's fantastic for a single traveler.
Right, you are, as a listener, welcome to our Suzuki Suzuki Mekor, Suzuki Tiger Valley first podcast that we're offering. If you just tuned in now, welcome on board. And just want to introduce yourself to Graham Watson. He's from African Sky. He is in here today joining us, and also with Neville Steenkamp, our sales manager, and also Sean Palvi. And now we move over to our segment 2, and that is the Jimny 5-door. So that is the new kid on the block. Not so new anymore. It has been launched. In what year it has been launched? Neville, just help me there.
The Jimny 5-door, Graham, you're also going to help there to help me there. It was in
2008.
2008.
Late 2018, October 2018.
Correct.
Five door.
No, I'm talking about the 5-door now.
Oh.
When was that one launched?
2023.
There was 2023.
Sorry, 2019, yeah.
So, Neville, let's start with you. And Neville, from a customer view, what are the customers saying about the 5-door?
We touched on it earlier. It's Graham. You touched on it earlier. It's more practicality. It's more a family 5-door, a family vehicle, as opposed to the 3-door solo traveler that we just touched upon. At the moment, you still have as a lifestyle vehicle. They can use the car every day. So it can be used as an everyday vehicle. You can fit your child's your son's cricket bag in the back easily without having to put it on the roof. And so from a practicality perspective, it's much more for a family type of vehicle. So you get a lot more people coming in for that, and there's better legroom and easier access in the vehicle itself. All the while keeping the iconic looks of the car. They haven't changed anything about that. So I feel that it's and what we've seen in the customer base has been running more practical and more from a family perspective, where the whole family can go on an adventure instead of having just 2 or 3 people going on an adventure.
Yeah, so I think just to clarify, if I'm not mistaken, the launch of the 5-door was just after the Jimny gathering in 2023.
Yes,
so
yes,
basically when
that's
it
correct.
was basically launched. So sorry, I was a bit confused with the 3-door. But getting back to the 5-door, for me, your overlander vehicle for a couple. We really battled at one stage to get the 3-door kitted properly, because you had to use the space so sparingly, and everything having a little space. But in the 5-door is just actually a pleasure. So there's a lot of people coming to us and saying, guys, can you kit us our 5-door? There's more space, and it just gives you, you don't have to load it as much, and much more stable in an off-road scenario. So at the end of the day, is that the back doors, because they open so nicely at a very big angle, is that you can have access to the sides as well. So when you turn that into an overlander, it's just a more practical kind of setup.
And John, you've been now in touch with a lot of customers in the Suzuki Jimny range. What do you see as a demand now?
Well, look, with the 5-door, of course, it's appealing to a far broader audience, and we're finding that there's no specific demographic for the 5-door Jimny, and we've seen customers moving over from commercials, from double cabs, buying Jimnys, from passenger cars, from SUVs, luxury brand SUVs. Buying themselves, and we're not going to say they're buying themselves down into a Jimny. In our minds, they're buying themselves up, and what they've actually done is they've made a decision to commit to a vehicle that offers everyday practicality, but with the retaining of the solid axle, and you must correct me if I'm wrong here, Graham. Rear suspension, even though the car still provides a comfortable sort of everyday let's call it road performance drive. The solid axle suspension is beneficial as far as off-road articulation and more intense terrain goes. And you can correct me here. But we're finding that the Jimny is able to serve so many different purposes, from being just a normal everyday, let's call it a soccer mom's car, all the way down to being a proper 4x4 vehicle that can tackle almost any terrain at any level.
Yeah, so I think that's 100%. You know, some of these construction companies that are basically buying that for some of their staff at the moment, because of the stability that the suspension gives you versus your independent suspension, like your SUVs and stuff.
Graham, going to 4x4 on your adventures with the 3-door, both the 3-door and the 5-door. Would you say that 5-door sacrifices off-road ability comparing to the 3-door?
Not at all. Not at all. We've just come back from a Mekor Eco Trail tour with some members through the club, and there was some Gen 3s, there was some Gen 4 3-doors, and there was 5-doors. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, they all performed perfectly. Yes, you drive it a little bit differently because of the 36 millimeter extra base, but at the end of the day is that you wouldn't even, if you get from a 3 into a 4, yes, it performs a little bit different over obstacles, but you wouldn't see the difference if on the actual obstacles.
So basically the abilities stay the same with a little bit of deviances. Just a little.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, you obviously got that little bit of extra, length, but at the end of the day, is that the car, if you drive it, you wouldn't even feel it as long as you take the right line and stuff like that. So it's not a major issue.
It's weird because we have done our training with the 5-door at 100 PS per ton.
That's true.
That was then like sort of the off-road course there. But I've never ever driven a 3-door on an off-road course.
Oh, you haven't?
So that's why I'm asking Graham the question now, because Graham has to like sort of enlighten me on that point. Yes. Because I never driven the 3-door.
Yeah, I found exactly what Graham has just mentioned now. Between the 5-door and the 3-door, the drivability and the off-road capability, it's like you said, it's just a bit of different driving style that you have to do with the off-roading. But capability wise, you don't lose any capability with the 3-door to a 5-door. It's still an amazing off-road vehicle.
Yeah, and the Jimny, all in total, the Jimny, both the 3-door and the 5-door, I think it's an amazing vehicle as far as that's concerned. Now we come to the point of our customer. So what I found, comparing the two to each other, the 3-door comparing to the 5-door, when people, and Sean, maybe you can fill in on that one, when people come and have a look at the 3-door, they will find 100-litre boot space. Comparing to the 5-doors, I think it's a 210-litre boot space. But the Jimny 3-door folds down fully, where the 5-door doesn't. Have you found that people has got a problem with that? Because it's quite steep up. It's like sort of when you fold the 5-door down, there's like sort of a barrier there. What was your feedback from the market?
Okay, from our side, if you have a look at it, we get people phoning us every day. Have you got a kit that we can put in the back so that we can get a flat seat like the 3-door? They haven't designed it correctly. And yeah, I think if we could have arranged and made something that's like that, I'll probably be a millionaire by now. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's got its negatives and positives that we actually have to. In off-road, it's always a compromise. But yeah, I think they did. It was an oversight, and if you have a look at the Gen 3 versus the 5, because it's a bit of a pain in the butt.
You see, Sean, I'd just like to get you in as well, because on the 5-door, and we had some negative thing. That's the only negative thing I ever had on a 5-door.
Yes.
Only negative thing was the boot capacity, and people. I think that they were being spoiled by the 5-door going all the way up, by the 3-door actually going all the way down, and they like sort of get a surprise now when they fold down the seats on the 5-door that it's not totally flat. And what you just mentioned, if somebody comes up with an idea of flattening it totally, that would be a winner.
I think it's also very important to note that one has to take the the overall styling and the look of the Jimny into consideration when designing a new vehicle. And if they sort of overstretched and overshot the dimensions, I mean, if I've got my story right, the 5-door is on round about 300 mils longer than the 3-door.
34 centimeters.
Okay, so 340 millimeters longer. And the beauty of it is that Suzuki have been able to maintain the essence of the Jimny's heritage look without stretching the vehicle too much. And so yes, there would be compromises as far as the overall practicality. But still, on the 5-door, you've got 200 liters of load space.
210, I think.
210.
10, I think.
Yes.
Let's be exact on that one. That's going to be 210.
Yes.
I think also I just want to, before we conclude on our 5-door, I just want to do a comparison with you on the 3-door versus the 5-door again, because this is all about comparisons that we're talking now, because people need to know if they want to go for a 3-door or they want to go for a 5-door, also depending on the size of the family. Cabin noise, comparing 3-door to 5-door, because I heard customers saying that 5-door is so much more quiet, which is obviously, have you all also encountered that one? Can you?
From our side, we're not really into that kind of where the quietness of it, but we have done some noise paneling and stuff specifically on the 3-door, not so much on the 5.
I actually read up, did some research on this. They have improved. They talk about the NVH, the noise, vibration, and harshness, and there have been some updates on the 5-door. As far as sound dampening, for the simple reason that there's a more practical purpose and a wider market that the 5-door vehicle serves. So it was important to design the vehicle from the offset to be a slightly quieter vehicle out on the open road, especially in city driving conditions. So they have reduced the NVH levels on the 5-door vehicle over the old 3-door. What the numbers are, I don't know, but I know for a fact that is the reason why we've had the question a few times.
Thank you for that one, Sean. I actually didn't know that one.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that one. Now I know.
It's all a little bit richer now.
All right, so if you just tuned in now, you are we're sort of halfway. We're actually over halfway of our first podcast here at Mekor Suzuki Tiger Valley, and welcome again. And I just want to get that WhatsApp number if you do have any questions out there. And the WhatsApp number is 064 531 9650. I'm going to repeat it. That's 064 531 9650. You can ask your questions and we will answer them at the end of the show to the best of our ability. Right, gentlemen, are we ready for a showdown now?
Yes, let's get into it.
Are you ready for your showdown, Graham?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to do the Jimny showdown now, and I'm going to throw out some categories for you. So you guys tell me which model wins. That's now between the 3 and the 5-door. Are we all ready now for that one?
Yes.
Ready, Graham. Right, the first up on the showdown is pure off-road capability. Which one wins here? Graham?
Okay, so the 3-door is a little bit more nimble. Depending on what kind of terrain you're going to be doing, it's more effective on your technical stuff, bit of rocks and stuff like that. So, but again, general comfort, the 5-door is as capable. It's just that different driving kind of style. But yeah, 3-door would definitely take over the technical stuff.
We've got the 3-door there on the technical stuff. Neville.
Also 3-door. Really touching on what Graham said in terms of technicality, but also on the approach and departure angle. Approach and departure angle was, correct me if I'm wrong, is a bit better on the 3-door than it is on the 5-door, even though the 5-door does have a very good market leading approach and departure angle as well. But the three-door being a bit shorter vehicle also wins that category, I would say, in terms of capabilities. But again, the five-door is just as capable. Three-door is just a bit more capable.
Okay, on the edge. So we've got
On the edge, yeah.
We've got the three-door one on the
But
edge.
three-door, yeah.
Sure, I'm going to probably say the five-door personally, and this is just a personal opinion. I like the look of the five-door vehicle, and it's as close as we can get to. We have to use the word a real Jeep, but it looks like a Jeep, and the way a 4x4 vehicle should. And you know, there's some more space in the vehicle, so there's more people in the vehicle, so there's more fun to be had, and so yeah, I go with the five-door.
Well, for myself, I will go with the five-door because I haven't done the off-road with the three-door. So it's a tie, 2-2,
Yeah.
with three-door and with five-door. Okay, right. The next one is daily practicality. Daily practicality. What do you say, Graham?
I think you wouldn't have bought a three-door if it wasn't in your spec to buy. So I think both of them are practical, great to park. If you've got a need for a five-door, you know, your kids and stuff like that. But yeah, depending on what kind of lifestyle you live, that would determine what would be more practical.
Good answer.
Yeah,
That's a
yes, that's going to be a difficult answer to follow there, Graham. Can I maybe give the same answer? So the five-door, again, it all depends on, like I said, it all depends on what ticks your boxes and what you need in a vehicle. And I would say in general, from my personal perspective, because I have a smaller son, a younger son, and planning on extending the family, I would say a five-door definitely. For daily practicality, to fit in all the bags, it needs to be fitted in. Also, I mean, always going to have a roof rack on the Jimny as well, so it's always going to be more extra space. So because the five doors are a bit longer, the roof rack is also going to be a bit bigger, so I can fit a bit more on there, depending on the size of the family and what the future holds. But yeah, from my personal perspective, I'd say daily practicality, the five door, but again, yeah, it's just because of that reason, really.
Sean, I know what your answer is going to be, but
All
anyway.
the way. 5 whole doors.
5 whole doors.
There we go.
Me too, 5 whole doors, so the 5-door wins here. Okay, you ready for your next one? So, okay. Now, this is an interesting one. And I don't know myself. I found that the 3-door might be a little bit win here. Fuel economy. What do we say about the fuel economy between the 3 and the 5-door?
Yeah, you know, it's so. People say, what should it be? You know, when the guys come for 4x4 training and they say, I'm only getting 10, but I'm getting 12. It depends on what your driving style is around and where you're driving. You know, is it in the traffic, or is it on a bit of a better kind of road where there's no traffic? But I think at the end of the day, you should be getting very similar kind of stuff. But yeah, the 5-door, people are saying that it's more fuel efficient, but again, auto against manual, and depending on what kind of roads you're driving, traffic, not traffic. But in general, the guys are saying that the 5-door is a bit more economical.
Neville.
Just Graham, you're getting the best answers there. You're leaving me with not much to work at the end of the day, but yes, that's
Sorry.
no problem. So I would say from a pure perspective of, in terms of weight, gross vehicle mass of the vehicle as well, I mean, the engines are similar. I would say the 3-door in general driving conditions, if you have to compare the two in terms of exact same driving styles, exact same everything, listen, you're getting more space in the 5-door, so there's a bit more material in the car, a bit more metal in the vehicle, so it is going to be a bit heavier as well if you take the same driving styles. So I would say the 3-door fuel economy, from my personal opinion, I would say the 3-door definitely, and just to add all the reasons that you just added now for the 3-door. Yeah.
Are you going to fill in that one, Sean?
Yeah, look, planes and trains and automobiles, eh? So they, the longer and the lower they are, the lighter they are on fuel. And if one goes and looks at the EV world, you'll mostly notice that the vast majority of EV powered vehicles are fairly long and low. And there's a reason for that, and it's all to do with aerodynamics. And But if one looks at the actual fuel consumption figures of the Jimny, both on 3 and 5 door, depending on who's testing it and which publication has tested the vehicle, but they're sitting at roundabout, and I'm saying this is mostly under controlled circumstances and controlled conditions, around about 7 liters per 100 kilometers, so 12.5 to 13 kilometers per liter is what most owners are experiencing in everyday use, without obviously now being very hard on the right foot. So, but I think if one had to put the two together and drive them under control in a controlled environment, the 5-door would probably be slightly more economical than the 3-door.
Yeah, and I found from my side as well, I think that the 5-door, I agree with you there, but that is religiously driving at 90 k's per hour, which I've tested, and I got a figure of 13.4 kilos per liter on a 5-door, which is actually good, eh?
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
But that is at 90 kilometers per hour. So I think that's quite a good fuel consumption on a 5-door.
Indeed.
The 3-door, I never got to 13. I only got to 12.5, 12.6. So the last one.
Can I just,
You can go.
Can I just add something? So when we do convoy driving and we're going on a trip for 9 days and we're obviously quite loaded, etc. People must understand that a Jimny is not a Z3, okay?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. It likes it at 100, 110 k's an hour. As soon as you go over the 120, that's when your fuel consumption comes into play. And I always say that the Jimny is designed for slower driving, that you can enjoy the journey. But besides that, for me, it's just about the actual driving speed. Because a lot of people say, oh, but I can drive at 140 down to George, and my fuel consumption is not great. It's not going to be great because of the gear ratio that they run, because of the capabilities of a 4x4 drivetrain.
And also, Graham, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the weight difference between a 3 and a 5-door is around about 100 kilograms.
Yeah, just over. I think it's 1050 versus 1170 or something like that.
Correct. So it'll have a very small effect, and I think that's probably why the 5 and 3-door fuel consumption kind of even out. The slight weight difference also plays a role.
Thank you for that one, Sean. Right, and now we finally, in our showdown, we go to the cool factor. Which one is the coolest of the two? Graham?
Yeah, it's a hard, depending, if it comes out of the showroom and it's sitting on the side, a lot of the guys think that the 3-door is cooler. Because a lot of people say, oh, they should never put the window into the 5-door, it's too long, all that kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the people had to get used to the 5-door. And, a lot of people are still getting used to the 5-doors look. And it's growing on a lot of people. But for me, 5-door is all good, but the 3-door is much more cuter. And it goes back to the different kind of buyer that you have.
It goes back to what I've said about the teenagers, because the teenagers always see the 3-door as the Jimny, not the 5-door. They always see that. Never.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Graham. So the nice thing about the Jimny is you've got thousands of accessories approved accessories that you can put on the Jimny. So from the get-go, from the factory, both of them are extremely cool. They all have their different appeals to in terms of the 3-door and the 5-door, depending on, again, what boxes it tick, but both of them are extremely cool, and you can make them even cooler, again, with all the accessories you can add, from a visual perspective to a practical perspective. You can make a cool vehicle even cooler. We've got clients, just to add to that, we've got clients coming in on a monthly basis, adding accessories, taking off accessories. It's a Lego vehicle. So you can make it as cool as you want to make it. And so I would say in terms of the cool factor, simply because I haven't seen the extension of the cool factor on the 5-door. I've seen very cool 3-doors, but the 5-door, I would say, has the potential to become a winning cool factor vehicle. Yeah.
So it's good that you mentioned, Neville, the accessory side. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've seen one, Jimny, and Graham, and I asked this person how much did this Jimny cost him. So if you take a normal GLX automatic, the GLX auto, you can get it on the road for roughly diesel at 460, 455. He kitted it out that it costed him nearly 800,000 Rand. So that's what the Jimny enthusiastic person he was, or he is actually. I don't know if you've seen that as well.
Well, yeah, we see a lot of when we go to the shows like Malmesbury, the Cape Neck show, etc., etc. A lot of the guys get their vehicles for that show. So the coolest 5-door that I've seen that works for me is the Onco one. I don't know if anybody's seen the Onco. That's a white Onco 4x4. So it's got all the right lifts and bigger tires and the suspension and all that stuff. But yeah, you're spending, before you've done anything else, 180 grand, to make it look cool.
Yeah,
but I think at the end of the day is that what Suzuki's always done, and from the beginning, I was one of their first salesmen in 2008. So as the guys have gone with the Jimnys, is that they've never ever really, and even if you look at the Suzuki Safari guys like JJ, and do the safaris with the Jimnys and take our clients, his car is standard. There's no other, he's only got different tires on. And that's how Suzuki has always marketed their cars, that they can be standard and capable at the same time. And then you get the guy that'll say, but hold on, I want to make it cooler. And then you get the guys that are practical, like Neville said, and then you get the guys that said, I've got 150 grand, I want to make it look mean. And it's not practical, but it looks cool.
Yeah. True.
One of the coolest guys, sure.
Yeah, well, then you get the crowd that do the whole Geländewagen conversions, eh, Graham?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's just off the wall. That's off the wall.
And they set you back 800,000 Rand. So you can have your GL lookalike.
I would prefer to buy an older G-Wagon for that price. To be honest, but yeah, it's just,
awesome.
For me, you get the cult movements. That's, especially overseas in Europe with the G-Wagon conversions. It's like a whole cult on its own, and it's ridiculous money that the guys are throwing at the cars.
Sure.
Right, folks, I think we're in the final stretch of our first podcast here at Suzuki Tiger Valley, and this is the time that we are going to listen to our listeners, the questions that they do have, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. So I think the first caller here, let me just see if we can get it right. So just excuse us on this one because we need to set up a couple of things here. Okay, our first question comes from...
Goeiemôre, dis Franswa hier van Beaufort Wes. Ek weet graag weet wat is die verskil in fuel consumption op on-road en teenoor off-road?
Grant, that was an Afrikaans one now. So what's the difference in fuel consumption off-road or on the road? That was from Francois in Beaufort West.
Okay, so you wouldn't, if you had to go onto, we do say that when do you put your car into four-wheel drive? That's on any gravel road. So what would happen is that you would, for me personally, I've never really seen a major increase in fuel consumption in four-wheel drive high range. Yes, you don't see it, and yeah, you can feel that the car's in four-wheel drive, but it's not such a major kind of situation where it actually takes your range right down. But yes, four-wheel drive, high range, low range, when you're driving sand or towing and stuff like that, it's going to change, and it'll probably give you 2 k's a litre less. Okay. So depending on how thick the sand is and that kind of stuff, if you're into in low range.
Just a question from my side, Graham, being on that topic. If I go on a gravel road, from tar to gravel, I'm driving too high, I switch to 4 high. Does that change the fuel consumption drastically or not?
No, so that's what I said. So you wouldn't see such a drastic increase. Remember, it's the same kind of ratio. It's just that you're running four-wheel drive instead of two wheels. and the rolling resistance is going to be a little bit different. But please, this is just something that I would like to say and add, that guys must never ever work on your range on your tank, on your computer, when you are in changing from 2.4 and too high, too low. Because what happens is that, for example, we came off one of the trips now, and the guys were panicking about their fuel consumption because the one section was four-wheel low range. And what happened was that your computer was saying something different. And when we got back onto the onto the tar road, it went straight back onto higher consumption. So the guys must just realize that they mustn't use their range when they're switching the ratios, because it's going to give them an obscured fuel consumption.
That's a valid point. Thank you for that one, Graham. Right, our next question. Who have we got on the line there?
Hi, it's Sabrina from Carpentine here. My question to the panel is, what is the most intense thing you guys have done in the gym?
So Sabrina from Criventon asked what is the most intense thing that you have done in a Jimny? So intense meaning, I think that what
I would hoping she's referring to 4x4 and where she has been taking the Jimny. So yes, Graham, can you touch on that for us? What's the most intense thing that you have heard or done yourself?
Well, look, water crossings have been quite hectic. We had a situation at one of our first shows when we did the Jimny experience at Malmesbury in 2019. Water was right up to the windows, but there was no stalling or anything, and we got through the water. It was quite intense. It wasn't done on purpose, but by mistake.
Yeah.
So that's one of them, and then we've been almost on our side where we've gone into a gully where my elbows touched the ground, but we didn't go over. So that was quite an intense one. But generally, they are quite capable, and you can push their limits. And it changes whenever you put your accessories on as well, which will also give you a different feel.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't all the Jimnys can endure the intensities of, I think, every terrain that a Toyota Land Cruiser goes. And in fact, I've heard that Toyota Land Cruisers, they bite the dust of a Jimny sometimes.
Correct, yeah. We're just more nimble than them. We don't have the power. And the only thing is that we have on the Jimny that's a bit of a problem is our height from our diff upwards, because we're only running 15-inch tires.
Oh, the weighting depth.
At quite limited 15-inch tires, but otherwise that's the only limitation.
Right, our next listener. Just trying to get this on quickly.
Hi there, good day everyone. My name is Jordan from Goodwood. My question is, would you recommend the Jimny 3-door or the Jimny 5-door, and why? Thank you. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. Bye.
I think that we have touched that point already, so but you just maybe give him his answer. It's George, huh?
Yes.
It's Jordan. Just maybe he has joined in late, so can you just sort of elaborate on that question for us?
George, thanks for the question. I think, again, my answer to the panel before was, what kind of lifestyle do you have? It's about your family. Does your family enjoy what you do? What are you going to do with the vehicle? But most of all, do you have a family? Because that's the biggest thing. You can always make a plan with a Gen 3, a 3-door and a 5-door, doing camping and stuff. But lifestyle wise, from a family point of view, that's what you need to weigh up.
Right, thank you very much for that one, Graham. Okay, this is the last one that we got in. Two more.
Second last one.
Hey Graham and team, it's Madison from Parkwood here. I've never done a 4x4 course before, but I would like to experience the thrill. How easy and safe is it for a beginner to try it for the first time? Also, thank you for the great show so far.
Get that, Graham?
We get that?
Yep. Okay, so if she has got her own vehicle, obviously she just needs to book with us. It's not a problem. But we do have, we basically run the level 1 in a controlled environment, and there's nothing that can really go wrong. But we do have the options of rental companies that are affiliated with African Sky Full Drive Academy, which basically we can assist if they want to actually to rent a vehicle and do a 4x4 course with us.
Yeah, I think at the end of the show that we will just get you all your contact details and we will share it with our listeners so that they can also get onto that one. I think we've got time for one left, eh?
Yeah, time for one last question.
Hi panel, it's Alicia here from Constantia. I just wanted to find out what makes the Jimny so special, and why should I pick it over the other competitors of the 4x4 vehicles that are out there? Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.
Why is it special?
That's a tricky question now.
From our side, guys, I think, depending on what, you can't compare it to any other 4x4 because there's no other 4x4 brand or a brand that makes a Jimny. You're stuck with Suzuki. But for me, it's about the cult following, the nimbleness of the vehicle, the capabilities of it for its size, the fuel consumption, and just the coolness of it.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
Can I add something to that, Graham? So it's as a brand new vehicle in that price segment with a proper low range gearbox. It's not easy, and I don't think anyone else in the local automotive market manufacture and or sell a vehicle that is comparative to it. So you've got the choice of buying a second-hand double cab or an extra cab Bucky 4x4 that's done 200,000 kilometers, or you can go out and buy a 1.5 million rand Jeep, or you can spend your hard-earned cash on a brand new Jimny, and you can buy almost 3 of them and have like a choice of colors to drive during the week. Versus the cost of what some of the competitors where their prices are. So I don't think there's anything in this country that we sell today that we can compare to if we are looking for a proper low range 4x4 vehicle.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, it's just a niche market, and it's such a cool vehicle with all the stuff that goes with it. It's a no-brainer.
All right, gentlemen, I think this was fun, eh?
Yeah,
This was a lot of fun. I think we actually ran out of time now. We are running out of time now. Are we going to say goodbye? No, but Graham, before we say that, if our listeners or anybody wants to get hold of you, where can they get hold of you for their training?
Okay, so African Sky, my telephone number is 079 354 2922. Or you can send an email to info@afriskyaadventure.co.za. So on all our stuff, our 4x4 training, our trips, our clubs, and general kitting of 4-wheel drives, they're welcome to just give us a shout on any of those contact details.
There we go. Just to repeat it quickly, you can get hold of Graham Watson if you want to go for that adventure ride of your life that's in your bucket list. You can contact him on 079 354 2922. I'm just repeating that number, 079 354 2922, or go look on his website at African Sky Adventures. That's the website. We will also run a post on our social media for the contact details over there. So give us a like there on Suzuki Tiger Valley's Facebook page, or just go to our TikTok platform where we will inform you about the latest offers that we do have available for you here at Suzuki at Tiger Valley. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Graham, Sean and Neville joining in on me, my colleagues here. It's been a real adventure. And to our listeners, thank you for joining the conversation. And if you want to test drive either a Jimny or learn more, come and see us at Mekor Suzuki Tiger Valley. Thank you very much. See you again.